All right. Good morning. Welcome to the Smart Life Club. This is the Coffee Break Show, and I'm Vicki Helm. Today is a very important day. Today is the day that's going to change your life. But do me a favor, put your name down below and say hello and welcome. If you're new here, we go live Monday through Friday, and Wednesday, we always have the Wednesday welcome guest. And today is a rockin' good day. I'm so excited. And so if you're new here, put your name down below. We want to know you, meet you, like you, trust you. Just above here, you're going to see a thing that says StreamYard/Facebook. If you'd like to engage with us and say hello, we'd love to hear from you. Good morning, everybody coming on board. We'd love to hear from you. So put your name there. You'll see a blue button come up. Push that blue button. It'll let us see your name and you can be with us. If you're on YouTube, good morning, YouTube Live. Do me a favor, push the like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit the notification button so that we can let you know we go Monday through Friday. Good morning, Joan. Good morning. So we got people coming on board. I just want to say good morning, Vicki and Isabel. Thank you for being here today. Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm hoping this is Ryan. Ryan, is this you? See, this is what happens if you don't hit the blue bell. It looks like this for us. But we're going to say good morning, and good morning to my favorite person on the planet right here. Good morning, everyone. We see you popping on. Listen, I'm just going to go. I'm really excited today. Today's guest is a behavioral science expert, and she is also an international speaker. She's taught all over the world, and the subject she's going to be talking about today, we're going to be fluid about. We're going to talk about some stress management things. Good morning. Hi. We're looking at Stephen. Good morning. Good morning. So great to see you guys on. I really appreciate you being here. And we are with Isabelle Tierney. Now, okay, so I get it. I want to just say good morning from Oregon, USA. Everybody onboarding. Glad to see you on board this morning. Oh, gosh, nice to see you as well, Jim. Happy to see you. Good morning. We are alive around the world today, and we are with Isabelle Tierney. Now, I know that people are like, who's this Isabelle Tierney? Okay, I've known Isabelle, and we were actually college friends. That's how long I've known Isabelle, and she's had this illustrious career. Hey, Guy Lucero, nice to see you, buddy. Listen, up top, you're going to see StreamYard. Click that button, click the blue button. It'll help me see your name so that I know that you're there. And by the way, if Guy's there, Joni's there. Good morning, Joni. Nice to see you. Today, we are going to take some time and meet Isabelle. She is the most amazing person in her field, bar none. I mean, really top of the field. And today we're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to talk about stress management. We're going to talk about what's in the world. We're going to talk about attitude and point of view and how that heals you and how that is helpful for you. So now let's see here. We have Dee Dee. Nice to see you here. Thank you very much for being here. We've got Guy. Before leaving a comment, please grant StreamYard permission to see your name at the StreamYard thing. That's really helpful for us today. So please, could you do me a favor, guys? Help me introduce, welcome to our Wednesday welcome guest. Please welcome Isabelle Tierney. Thank you for being here, my wonderful friend.
I love your enthusiasm. It's like you're like run by this engine of fire, and I'm just going to go on the ride with you. And I'm so excited. We've known each other since 1996.
Yeah.
And we have followed each other's path and weaved with each other on our path towards really wanting to create a better world. And that we're so complementary, and we have so many similarities. And I'm so honored to be here.
Thank you. I got to tell you guys, we were talking the other day, and Isabelle's career and mine, we follow each other very closely. And I want to let you know right away, if you want to, somebody's already putting stuff up there. This is where you can get a hold of, look, they're already found you. They're like, this is where we go. Yes, this is where we hang out. So when we were in college, for like a couple of years, every day after the sessions of school and everything else, there was like 4 of us that would sit in a hot tub and talk about life and how we're going to change the world and everything else. And our entire life has been growing together in that vein. And she's here today. And I want to ask you I just want to go for it right now, because I want to really bleed your mind about things that are happening in the world today. And of course, everybody's big on this coronavirus, and there's a lot of conspiracy theory. There's a lot of fears. There's a lot of everything. And I kind of want to can you just give me your point of view about the world and what's happening in it right now from the standpoint of being a stress management specialist and a behavioral scientist?
Wow. Big question. I love that. So I'm actually going to put a third hat on as well. So I'm going to put the spiritual teacher hat on as well. Is that all right?
Yes.
Okay,
because
great.
that you are a spiritual teacher as well, and a good one. So let's do it.
Okay, great. So first of all, anything that I'm going to say in this podcast, I want to be really clear about that it is just the story that I choose to believe about what's happening in the world. And that's really going to answer the whole question you just asked me. We right now, every day, are in front of choices of how we want to see what's happening, whether we want to let fear and stress take us down, or we want to cultivate hope and inspiration. Right? It's literally in front of us in every moment. I've been sick for the last week. I have noticed how fear wants to take me down, tell me I'm going to die, watch my funeral already, right? I mean, I've planned the whole thing. And there's the other side of me, right? So that, like, it's a catastrophe happening to us. And when I experience that story, that movie, I get scared, I get anxious, I get catastrophizing, I feel paralyzed.
Yes.
No action comes from me, right? When I put on the lens that we are in a global reset where each and every one of us gets the choice to start behaving with more love, more compassion, more kindness, to slow down, that we actually get a chance to create a whole new world. One could call it in religious terms, heaven on earth. Then I feel inspired. I feel connected. I do right action. I want to do things in the world that inspire. So I'm not telling you which one is right or wrong. I'm just looking at which story do I want to cultivate because of how does it serve me and how does it serve others once I believe and cultivate that story.
That's gorgeous, you guys. So I want to talk about that, because we always say in the Smart Life Club, we have this very common saying. It's like your thoughts will only do 2 things. That's it. They'll either impair you or empower you.
Yes.
And you get to choose. You get to choose what they're going to do. It's so simple. Your thoughts are either going to impair you or empower you. Now, moving on that vein, I want to know like 3 ways maybe that when you're in the zone of, or maybe explain the zones, when you're in that fear-based place, how do you move yourself out of it? How do you come back to center? How is it that you rebuild your focus and attention?
Yeah, I love that. So first of all, the work that I teach is it's a scale called the stress reset scale or the feel good life scale. And imagine a triangle that has the same colors as a traffic light. So the red zone at the top is actually the stress response. The green zone at the bottom is the relaxation response, where everything we long for, peace, love, joy, intimacy, live. Right? So when we're in the stress response, the only choices we have are to fight, flight, or freeze. We are wired for that. And in that stress response, it's called the red zone. We can only see the world in a fearful, mistrusting way. We are wired for that. Yes. Our bodies believe that there's a tiger in front of us, even if it's just our partner saying, hey, honey, you didn't empty the dishwasher yet. So if you can imagine now, there is an actual seeming danger out there. So my story is that there is a global stress response going on right now, a global fear response. Yes. Millions, if not billions of people are living in that red zone. And my work is how to help people access that green zone. Because if we live in that green zone, again, right action, inspiration, faith, hope, like what can I do to serve the world right now is going to occur. And physiologically, I'm going to be stronger because in the stress response, my immune system goes down, my body doesn't work as well, it's exhausted, it's depleted. In the green zone, I am strong, my body's healing itself. So it's like a win-win-win-win-win-win-win to learn sustainably to live in that green zone. And it is hard right now because that red zone movie is being lived in by millions, if not billions of people. So it's easy to fall into it and then not be able to get out of it.
So tell us, what can we do if we're in it and we're just, because right now, what I think is so important about it is she said it's like millions and billions. I think it's billions because there's 8 billion people. It's billions of people are living in that red zone right now. And the media is kind of spinning the red zone.
For sure.
They are pushing that red zone, red zone, red zone. And we have a tendency to let our fear run away with our reason or discernment or command. And I'm like, when you're in the red zone, how can you get to the green zone? How do you dip back in there and recognize that you're there?
Yeah, I love it. So I have 3 steps, all right? And they're called the stress reset steps. It's called change the channel. So when you're in the red zone, the first steps, think traffic lights, stop. When you are in the red zone, you have to know, you just said it, our rational brain has been kidnapped. It's supposed to. We are supposed to not think if there's an animal coming at us. Is it a mountain lion or is it a golden retriever? We are supposed to act now, think later. So literally our rational brain is gone. The second thing that happens in the stress response for evolutionary reasons is we misinterpret danger. We exaggerate danger. So step number 1, stop. Like, whoa, I am having so many fear stories right now about how I'm going to die and my whole family's going to die and the whole world is going to fall apart. So stop. Step number 2, and I'm going to, for people who sign up to the League of Angels, to my Facebook page, you will get the handout with the scale and the 3 steps. It's important people know that. Step number 2, yellow zone, slow down and breathe. Right? So it's the yielding of the yellow light. So slow down and breathe. So when you breathe deep abdominal breath, you're telling your body that you are safe, that you are okay. It's the fastest way to do that. And then step number 3, the green, go. Act on a feel-good habit. Do something that makes you feel good, that makes you feel safe, that gives you pleasure. So it could be dropping into the present. Wait, I'm okay right now. I'm on the phone with Vicky and there's nothing wrong. Or it could be that I'm going to take a bath or call a friend who doesn't go into fear. You get to pick what those feel-good habits are. But what is important in that step is to actually allow ourselves to feel that pleasure for at least 30 seconds, because that rewires our brain to hold more positive experiences than negative ones in our long-term memory. We are literally wired to hold negative experiences in our long-term memory.
Wow.
So we have to reteach our brain a new way of being. So does that make sense? Stop, slow down and breathe, go.
That's so beautiful. We have a guy in our Smart Life Club, and his name is Stephen Yulzak, and he is always saying, conditioning his mind every single day to stay in that positive, to keep that positive in there. And he says, I believe if we plant seeds of faith, hope, and love, and compassion and kindness, we will serve the world. I'm not worried about what is happening in the world, but concerned. I've been retired from teaching for 20 years, and the seeds are still there. The red zone is always yellow or green to me. I mean, that takes great practice. I love that so much. And somebody else, I'm not sure. This is an interesting thought right here. And I actually believe this. I think the media is spinning this up. They want you in fear because you can't think clearly in this mindset. Now, I'm looking at this right here and I'm thinking that could be a story. And I believe that story. And I believe that I am the commander of my mind. I really want that. But I think the interesting thing that she was explaining really is does your story that you tell yourself empower you? If it does, you're probably in the green zone. Does it impair you? If it does, your story, you're probably in the red zone. But here's the actual truth, that this is the really hard fact that I think is so important. You get to control your story. You get to say what your story is. That to me is the power of free will at that point. What do you want to believe, or why do you believe what you believe? And go ahead, say, I see it.
I want to say something. So this morning, right before our call, my COO called me, and her father and one of her sisters are in full red zone about this right now, right? They are scared. They say the world's going to fall apart. Fear, 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 fear. So my CEO calls me and she goes, I haven't been able to sleep all night. Isabelle, I'm in the red zone and I can't get out. So we start talking about it. And she says, you know, I even try to feel the emotions of it because I teach people to actually be with all emotion, but I became worse. And I said, the reason you became worse is because she started believing and going into the emotions of a false story, meaning in the present moment, we are fine. You can spin the story that the world's going to fall apart and you're going to feel fear and grief and terror. But in this moment, to actually go into those emotions is not helpful. Now, it's a very fine line between that and what you know as spiritual bypass. I am not telling people not to pay attention to what's happening and not to take good care of themselves and to be responsible. But again, if I'm in the red zone, I'm not even going to want to go. Like, I'm just going to be paralyzed. I'm not going to want to do anything good. In the green zone, I will put my mask on. I will only go to the grocery store once a week, but I might also call a friend who's not feeling well, right? There's a difference between red zone action and green zone action. And I am not talking about bypassing anything.
You know, it's interesting because a word that popped up that was so important is I think of the green zone as the ability to have discernment.
Correct.
And what's interesting in the green zone for me, I noticed that in the green zone, I don't listen to my mind as much as I listen to the soul of who I am. And when I listen to the soul of who I am, 100% of the time, it's accurate and it tells me what to do in the moment. And I'm not searching for an answer. I'm allowing the answer to come. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's the power of the green zone that you're speaking of. Is that true?
It is true. And you know what I would say? It's both the soul and or we can call it intuition is available, and rational thinking is available. They're both aligned with each other. And it is vital, guys, that you know, in the red zone, your frontal cortex, your rational thinking brain is kidnapped. Creativity is kidnapped. And so I want you guys to know that you are not to trust that. And we were talking with my COO this morning about Byron Katie, one of my favorites. So she's an amazing spiritual teacher. Yeah. So there's the mythical story of Byron Katie, that she's in New York City and that there is a man running at her with a gun pointed at her. And the story is that Byron Katie, until the guy was in front of her, she did not budge. She did not go into fear because she's that present to the moment that even when he was 5 feet from her, it wasn't happening in the moment. 3 feet from her, it wasn't. And when he arrived in front of her, he just dropped his gun. So what I'm saying about that related to all of us, wow, the stories about what could happen today, tomorrow, a month from now are scary, scary, scary. But are they here right now? And if they're not, can you come back into the present and practice green zone? I call it the green zone less: compassion, kindness, love, humility, generosity. Can you practice that in every moment and not allow fear to kidnap you and render you impair you like you're talking about? How are people, how does this landing with people?
You know, I'm like looking this, so right now, I noticed that I also turn off the media in all forms as being inundated with news was affecting my dreams when I slept, which I thought was interesting. Even as I thought I was managing my mind during waking hours. This is how infiltrated this can get. And I want to say something that is to me very important about what you said, what you just said. What if right now you were more powerful than you thought? What if you expected a miracle to happen instead of the explosion of something or something to collapse in. What if you called to you? What if you had the power to call to you a different reality in spite of what's going on? What if you actually trusted that you were that powerful that you said, yes, I've decided a miracle is going to show up for me, and not this fear and worry.
Not a catastrophe.
Yes. What if you actually had or thought you were that powerful for a moment? Just imagine that, because that's the actual power she's helping us tap into right now. That actual power that is in you, can we let that out? As long as we're outward this way and we're watching the news and everything else, you can't let it out. It's only when you bring yourself back into the green zone, because the green zone is the magic and the power of you. And I think that is some of the most important power that you can have. We already know that our thoughts can only do two things. Yes, they can impair you or empower you. That's it. You get to choose what happens. And what happens when you're impaired and what happens when you're empowered, the only way you're going to experience that is to understand how that red zone, the yellow zone, and the green zone, and being willing to catch yourself, in the moment. Right now, the sides is, I love this. Miracles happen to me every day. Love that. I just want to pop this up. Robin, that's so true. Several months ago, this show, we had a 7-day challenge to turn off media to see how it changed our emotions. I did it. In less than 24 hours, I was calmer. That is the power we give to media and others. And this is what I want to say right now. You can create your green zone right now. I want to talk about this right here because I think this is cool. Stephen says, I greatly appreciate your approach. Green zone, red zone. People need to move from the red zone, yellow zone to what I call the discover zone. I love that too. I love the green zone because it gives you power to design your destiny. I am back to listening. Wow, I love that. That's so true. Say something about that, love.
I want to say something about, because I love to use science to support, right? More and more science is supporting what spirituality has been saying, spiritual teachers have been saying for thousands of years. So I'm going to talk about quantum physics in like 1% of quantum physics is, because I am not a scientist, but to say this, right? We literally think of yourself again into red zone, green zone, or yellow, red, yellow, green. The zones we are in vibrate in the quantum field at that frequency, right? All these waves in the quantum field, so that is energy in formless form, not yet created, vibrate at different frequencies. If I'm vibrating at the red zone, the more I do it, the more that waves becomes a particle, which eventually becomes matter, which eventually becomes real. When I vibrate at the green zone, that wave of green zone high frequency eventually becomes a particle, which becomes a cell, which becomes real. So it is not just foofy spirituality that is telling us right now that we can create what we call miracles. It's actually quantum science. So it's not a foofy thing at all.
I want to put you in this place right now. Somebody, it's interesting. This is, I don't know who it is because they haven't hit and it might be Ryan, but this came up. Sadly, in the last 48 hours, suicide death rates in Tennessee are outpacing the virus death rates due to fear, depression, and job losses. The unknown deeply into the red zone. How can these people in crisis be supported and brought into the green zone? What an interesting question. That is something that is so out there. How do we get ourselves back? How do we know that, you don't want to kill yourself over a thought or a possibility? And so this is to me something that I'd love you to speak to. And I'm wondering if you are willing to share with people what we would be doing with that.
Wow. Yeah. It's one of the reasons right now, like I feel like I have been training for 20 years to
Wow.
get my work that simple and that profound so I can start sharing it. So I literally want to say to people, like, if you can get me on podcasts, if you can get me on anything where I get to teach this scale and the 3 steps, because literally I don't know another way but to recognize, stop, wait a minute, I'm having fear thoughts. They are impairing me. Slow down and breathe. Let me get my body back into safety. Take a positive action. Like literally, it has saved me again and again. Everybody who works with me has that. And we have to teach people the power of our thoughts, which lead to emotions, which lead to impulses, which leads to actions. And the thoughts in the red zones are distorted. And it's done for our survival. It's not a mistake. We're supposed to see the world as the enemy in the red zone. You don't want to be thinking a lion is a friend. Unfortunately, our brain is outdated. And now more than ever, these lions are all in front of us. And to be like, you know, the way I equate it, being at 2:00 in the morning in a tent by myself and I hear rustling leaves.
Yes.
I'm going to be like so scared. And there's like to get into that's what the world feels like right now. You know, what I've heard people say is the virus is coming to get me. I have no control. Like there's some real red zone stories, some of which are real. Right? This is the thing. This isn't all made up. There is danger out there. And there's a way to be in the green zone and to take action from there that still will make us do the wisest choices we can.
Yes. And that's the point. That to me is the crux of it all. I want to say that our mind loves to postulate. It wants something to chew on. It just does. But the true answer is in the green zone. If you can quiet yourself down, the answer that is actually specifically designed for you will come up. It'll tell you, don't go there. Stay home here. Get this job, move this way. This is the answer. The answer is in here, but we just have to quiet ourselves. I want to talk right here. I thought this was a very interesting statement. Right now, we are that powerful. We are that powerful. We're teenagers being dressed in baby clothes. We need to take off the wardrobe to get a new makeover. And that's the possibility of what's happening right now, a new makeover. And how we respond depends on what wardrobe we are given. It's so interesting right there.
I love the metaphor, Dee. I really love the metaphor. You know what? In my meditations, often what I help people get guided into is opening their angel wings. So I'm going to go beyond, I'm going to put in your wardrobe metaphor, like imagine opening your wings all the way and like how you stand and how you show up. And that's the way. It's not, and I want to say this, and I'm going to sound pretty dramatic when I say this, not red zone dramatic, green zone dramatic.
You go.
When I was talking to my CEO this morning, who does not get taken into the red zone much, right? She really has done her work and she could not fight it, right? And I was like, I'm not going to call her name. I'm going to call her Jane. Jane, I was like, literally, this is a fight, the epic fight, the same way as in Harry Potter's movie, Star Wars movie, between fear and love. We could call it darkness and light. We could use religious terms and talk about the devil and God, whatever feels comfortable for you. Yes. We are literally at a moment of choice. We got shaken up enough that we're all feeling the same disease, right? So there's some equalization, at least around that. It isn't just people over there who are sick or old people. Everybody gets that fear. And we get to choose in a more powerful Olympic way than ever before. I am not going to let that fear get me. Stop. You're not real. I'm going to come back to the moment and I'm going to choose to embody the highest frequency green zone. And it is harder than it's ever been. We are being tested more than ever because indeed billions of people are in that red zone. And it is seductive. It is addictive. It is magnetizing. So for those of us who choose to do something different, we get to redefine the world, but one at a time going, I'm not going to go into fear.
Yes. You know, that's so interesting when we look at, it feels like something is trying to disempower us.
Mm.
But when it's in the choice right now of choosing you in a different way, what if this was actually a blessing in disguise? And I know there are people that it's like, okay, there's a lot of suicide. They're trying to force, they're trying to force these vaccines on us. They're trying to take down our economy. They. It's definitely all out there. And I'm not saying these stories aren't true or true, but I am saying it's like what she said. It's just like Star Wars. Is the Force with you? Is the Force with you? And if you do have the Force, where is it? It's not in the red zone.
And
the
it's
Force
not outside of you.
Yeah, it's inside you, and it's in the green zone. And right now, the practice is, even when you're coming into a bunch of Star Wars troopers, and you have everything in the car that they're looking for, and you can say to them, these aren't the droids you're looking for. So they can go, these aren't the droids we're looking for. Let them by. What if that is the opportunity right now? What if that is actually the blessing? They're on fire here. I've got to move this here. They want to release this virus, eliminate the population. And literally Neptune is in Pisces right now. So we will be seeing the actions of suicide a lot. Possibly. That is one possibility. Let's see. So sad that anyone would take their life, because what is happening in the world today, going back over here, in 2007, I lost a lot of money in the market, but I believed in me and I moved on. We don't teach people how to survive mentally and spiritually. This is a failure of our education system, possibly, but we could teach these skills that are younger.
So many people want to bring my red zone, my scale into the system. I'm actually shifting to include corporate now. So I'm going to start teaching this work there. Cool. And I've got a whole bunch of people who've been certified in my work who are going to take it into the school system. I completely agree. I want to say, so again, these are all hypotheses of mine. I am never stating anything as facts. People can choose what they want to believe. But when Spirit wants us to change something, right? Yes. First, it gives us a couple taps on the shoulder, and then a little bit stronger, and then a little bit stronger, until, maybe we break our leg or have a car accident or get sick. I believe my story is that this is the way we got shaken up. We have been warned and tapped on the shoulder and tapped on the shoulder. The numbers, people telling us, scientists telling us, all this stuff, wars. I feel my story is that we are getting a chance to be shaken up enough so that we finally wake up and choose to behave differently, each and every one of us. And this is a time of resetting our stress, resetting our lives, and choosing who we want to be. And I choose to be a green zone person. And again, I want to just really be really kind to all of us. It is not easy right now, because we are faced, like it's in all those movies, there's always the final battle, right? The hero has many smaller battles, but there's always the final battle where you actually don't know, shit, is Harry Potter going to die? Like, what's going to happen? I believe we are in that battle. It is that big. Both sides could win right now. And I feel so passionate to be spreading the message of we can do this if we hold our highest green zone frequency.
Now, to me, that's so important what she just said. That is the Smart Life Club. Remember, we're here to create thrivability. And what exactly is thrivability? Well, guess what? Part of prosperity is your ability to actually point your heart and your mind in the direction you actually want to go in, and be in the state you actually want to be in. And so what's happening right now, everybody is like, talking all at once. When you choose to be a green zone person, it's like, okay, do you want to be in, you get to choose where you hang out. Do you want to be with a group of people who have impairing thoughts or empowering thoughts? And do you want to be in the group of people that feel good? And feeling good is, or feeling that goodness, getting your mind screen and the picture you want on your mind screen versus what's on your TV screen or
Yes.
what's on that blog post that is terrorizing. You get to choose in this moment what you want to focus on. And I know this for my own ego, and I want to say this out right now. There is something that has a negative intimacy and a lower self-pleasure about knowing these conspiracy theories. They're almost entertaining. Looking at these stories of how, everything is being displayed as the deep state and everything else. And I'm not saying it's true or wrong. I'm talking about the deliciousness of the entertainment of that story, the righteousness that one can feel of that, and the negative intimacy of that righteousness. It takes me out of, I'm actually, to me, that's like the yellow zone, because the second I get there, I can jump into the red zone and, oh my gosh, this is overtaking me. It's so true. It's this. Now I want to be dead honest. I'm going to be dead honest with my entire Smart Life Club. All of you on every page, you have no idea how many times a day or night all of you are sending me your terror on your phone. You're sending it to me in instant message. Last night, I was talking to somebody till 1 a.m. in the morning on my phone. And so it's like all night long, people are sending me these, see, this is happening. The second wave, it's gonna blow up. The reason I want to be here right now is to say, what do we do with the stress? What do we do? You have to stop yourself with the story in your head. And we get to the point where you can just say, this is so simple. It's so simple. Stop. Just stop. You're in the red zone. The second you feel fear or anger or whatever, stop. Those are impairing thoughts. The ability to catch yourself. Say more about the ability. How do we learn to catch ourselves?
Well, one of the things that I've just decided I'm going to gift to people when they get on the League of Angels, I have actually a list of signals, of red zone signals and green zone signals. And they are physiological, right? They are emotional, they are mental and core beliefs. So for example, when you're in the red zone, physiologically, heart rate going really fast, you can't, muscle tension, emotionally, you feel anxiety, frustration, or hopelessness. Mental, you feel racing thoughts or confusion. Beliefs, you believe the world is out to get you or that you're all alone. Green zone has the opposite beliefs, right? Signals. So when you learn I literally can recognize I'm heading into the red zone by any one of those signals. And right now, the signal is I start going, oh my God, my cough is getting worse. Oh my God, for me, it's racing thoughts. And I start having core beliefs of the world is going to end. So I'm like, oh, I'm in the red zone. Stop. So the more you learn what your red zone signals are and you become a freaking expert at your red zone signals, the more then you can say stop. And the thing about each step, they each stand alone. Many times when I've just been in the red zone and I've just recognized, and I haven't been able to shift out of it, but at least to be like, oh, I'm just spinning quite a story. And at least I'm not spinning with it, but I have the witness watching it. That's a victory. Sometimes I've been stuck for days there. Step number 2, stop and breathe. Sometimes just that step is enough to shift you into the green zone. So each step stands on its own.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Because I know for myself, I think one of the most powerful pieces of when you catch yourself is awareness. Because every time that I say stop, I'm giving myself power and awareness over myself. And is it a practice to grow that a little bit so that you can, and how do you control that awareness? I want to be fair here. We're over 30 minutes. The thing's on fire. I can't even get to all the people. Are you okay? Can we keep going? Or
oh yeah,
how you doing? All right, let's do it.
I'm so in. I wanted to see what Steven said. He said, when we're in the yellow zone, we have a choice. If we seek understanding, we will go green. Yes, great show. Thank you for sharing. I love that. So the thing that's so hard about the red zone is our rational brain is literally kidnapped, right? I keep saying that so you guys keep remembering. So to remember to recognize you're in the red zone when your cortex isn't working, which is real. And that's the practice. That's why I literally for years, and anybody who does the work, we have the signals everywhere in our house, right? Because you've got to learn. Now I can literally track myself enough. I don't need those external signals.
Yes.
But the more you have the signals all everywhere, the green zone ones, the red zone ones, the yellow zone ones, the more you become skillful at it.
It's beautiful. You know, it's like, that's the simple thing right now. Just get 3 colors, plop the 3 colors up so you can just see. And even if you put them on your refrigerator, am I in red zone, yellow zone, green zone?
By your computer, by your bed, everywhere. Like when you guys, I will give you the signals and you can print them out, and they save my life. I mean, before the virus, during the virus, this work constantly saves my sanity. And not just that, because I'm not just looking to save my sanity in this time, but like Donald says, we're all experiencing this moment globally. I literally believe that we are being asked to do that we've been waiting at least for this lifetime, if not many lifetime, to be lights in the middle of this chaos. And we've been training. I always say that we're Olympic athletes. We've been training for this for lifetimes. Can we do it now?
Yes. And this is the whole point right here. Every time I cough, I have to laugh because of that small thought that pops up, that small thought. That's the point, isn't it? When you get to that point, that moment of being aware, to being able to find that. And you're right, Donnie, we are in this together. I want you to know we are not alone. So
let me say something to Didi and to everybody, okay? This actually happens pre-virus all the time. A boss isn't happy with us, or a partner is disappointed, or our children yell at us. These little false alarms are actually happening all the time and sending us in the red zone. Right now, the false alarms are even faster. So in a sense, it's harder to catch them because they seem so real, but it is also why it's the most exciting time to practice this work, because they're happening so quickly. And so, it's actually like, oh, wow, had a cough. Wow, I already saw my funeral. Okay, and I'm going to be all alone in my funeral because nobody can go. Okay, slow down, stop, slow down and breathe. Actually, I'm going to take some deep breath because my lungs right now are just needing space, right? Or I'm just needing a break. My lungs are telling me I need a break. So I love it. We get to practice this in a much more urgent way right now.
Yeah. I love this. I don't know who it is. It could be Susan. It could be Ryan. It could be, this is what it looks like to me when we don't use this StreamYard thing up there. But whoever this is, we're asking people to develop a new level of self-awareness in the middle of a global health, economic, climate crisis. Most will simply be too overwhelmed to develop a separation between themselves and what they're experiencing. These are lessons best learned in a more peaceful time. And I brought this up for me because I know that I'm an ex-cop. Everybody knows I'm an ex-cop. But I will tell you this. I was part of the last group of people who went to a police academy where they trained us, so that when we got in the field, our training would take over. So I will tell you this. Nothing prepares you for what's out in the field. You can have all the learning, but when you get in the situation, what takes over, hopefully is part of your training, but what takes over is what's in here. What's already within you takes over. If you feel fear, you get overwhelmed with fear in that point. And to me, one of the best ways to train was in the moment, right there, right in the field, right when it was happening, when, there's somebody who's actually got a gun pointed at you and you have one pointed at them. That's a different thing. You can train all you want. But the beauty of the moment of this is, in all of my lifetimes, the opportunities that I have right now to advance in consciousness, there's nothing like this moment right now, here in this present state. This is the perfect place to go ahead and train. If you don't have fear, then you never have to face it or move around it. If you don't have red zone things, you don't know, oh, I'm in the red zone. I'm going back to the green zone. Perfect moment for these kinds of things.
Well, and what I want to say, what was the name? Was it Donald who was just saying that? Who was
No,
it?
Facebook user.
Oh, that's right. So this is what I want to say, right? To me, even the story most people won't. If I track, how does that sentence land in me? Well, so that scale actually is a 1 to 10. 1 is all the way red, 10 is all the way green. That lands me at like a 4 or 5, like in the yellow zone. Oh, yeah, most people are too unevolved or not self-aware enough. Blah. No, I would rather believe the story that the majority of the people are actually going to be awakened to this. So yesterday, I wrote a little tiny post that said, I believe with every cell of my being that we are getting the potential to shift into a world that has love, compassion, and humility. Anybody else? I had more comments, more likes than beyond my birthday. It was like 240 people. Wow. People freaking want, first of all, not only people want to hear messages of hope, people are doing it. We are all and I'm not saying it's the whole world, but why would I believe a story, since I don't know the facts, why would I believe a story that most people are not going to do this? It's a sucky story, whether it's a fact or not, until the fact is proven, it's just a story. And it makes me want to cry. Like, I refuse to believe it. I refuse to believe it. I'm going to believe that we're all being awakened and that we're all going to do this together, because the power of many of us doing this work is exponential. Yes. It's the domino effect or the butterfly effect or whatever the frick effect it is. But I will not believe that we're not capable of this on a global level.
And so I want to go on that. I really believe that too. I think this is a choice between consciousness and unconsciousness, and love and fear is what you said. That's the thing right here. Are you going to choose love? Are you going to choose fear? I want to let you know, I put her Facebook group in there because you'll find me in that group as well. But the League of Angels is about having that positivity in there. And I really enjoy that. I want to say this, Stephen. Stephen's always with great stuff on there as well as Johnny. But Stephen, he's really good. Yeah. This reminds me of a story. You're driving and you see a yellow light. Remember, it's warning. Exactly. It's a warning. And to me, what's interesting about the yellow light is sometimes when you see the warning, you want to zoom right into the red zone. And it's just like red can mean death. Stop so you can move to the green zone.
That's it. Stephen, you still got the work.
I know he does. He's super positive, super, Scott, it says, Scott, please allow StreamYard. Okay. So thank you, Scott. That's true. It's tough to build that self-awareness, but let me put this one up. But I think that's true. It's tough to build that self-awareness, but I think it's exactly the times like these that force us to step up and become more self-aware. Or as Donnie stated earlier, the rate of suicide increases.
That's right.
And I agree with that. It's like that unconsciousness.
Yeah, and I want to go back to what you were saying about being a cop and what somebody said about it's during peaceful times that it's easier to practice this work. I don't agree. I have never really changed anything really important unless I was like against the freaking wall, right? Like, like it is how we're built. We're built to most of us are built up until now to change because we have to. So for me, if we had all been able to change during times of peace, then we would all be a freaking heaven on earth right now. But instead, it is this time of crisis and of having to slow down and being home and reevaluating our values and choosing moment by moment. We actually have the space to choose what thoughts we want to cultivate. This is the time we needed this shakeup. I really feel that Spirit gave us a giant shake up to really wake us up to this. So I have a slightly different point of view.
That's so important to me because, by the way, people are helping and doing it. Yes. There are people right now that are specifically giving messages of hope, messages of love, messages of positivity. They are choosing. Remember, it's your story, the story of impairing or empowering. period. And somehow we believe that it's outside of ourselves, that we don't have that power to, like, we're just floating around here, letting the universe bash us around without any cause or reason. And so, and here's Stephen again. My life position, I'm okay, and so are you. And I like that too. I love this. Scott, welcome aboard.
Hi, Scott.
And this is why people have to go and progress through pain. Pain teaches us more than any other type of experience. And go ahead.
Well, I want to add something. So I have this hypothesis that has been true until now. And I have a hypothesis that we're going to get to the stage that we actually don't need pain in order to grow, right? If you think about Christ and you think about many of the great leaders, we have been taught you've got to carry the cross and to be shamed and to be punished and have stones thrown at you in order to ascend. So I think that has been a story in our consciousness we have held. And I hold the hope and the vision that we won't actually need for the rest of however long we humans are in existence, that we will need that as a motivator.
You know, that is, I'm going to hold that with you. I want to hold that vision with you, because right now people do progress through pain. That is the story I'm holding. And a lot of times pain is created so that we can advance. And so I'd like to advance without pain. I'd like to just advance out of awareness and joy and in the momentness. But Scott, I really believe that this is the narration of right now.
Up until now, yes.
I'm going to help hold the transformation of that, because I like that story better. And I think it is so, I think it'd be a lot easier on people if they could grow without pain.
Yes.
And so,
and I want to say something that's really important. When I talk about the green zone, guys, I am not talking about difficult emotions not being there, right? So let's say, for example, anger. So there's anger that's in the red zone. And when people are angry in the red zone, think about that it's a triangle. People either discharge it at others, right? Yelling, discharging, blaming, or I call it in charging. I've invented that word, is you take it against yourself. In the green zone, you can have anger. You can experience anger, grief, jealousy, but you do it from an open, accepting, loving place, and you work with it as energy. And when anger is utilized in the green zone, it can change the world. When you think about Gandhi or Martin Luther King, they used anger in a skillful green zone way. So I want to make sure to everybody listening, I am not talking about bypassing difficult emotions. I'm talking about working with them in the green zone, because really, when you think of most change, it's people who've gone angry enough, like most social justice change, to be like, I'm going to do something about it. But that's a green zone experience. Now, if you go and shoot people in order to change the thing, that's a red zone experience.
That was beautiful. I'm like, that to me, it melted my heart, and I can see my heart is up in the throat, because we're not trying to bypass or run away from. We're taking a different approach, because you got to understand something so important. If the problem was created by us, the answer is within us. And if you see a problem, if your mind is, there's a problem, well, there's the answer that's within you. And I really believe that. I like Stephen's motivation by failure. Failure motivates me. I get to the point where I like living in awakening, and enlightenment motivates me. You guys, I could run her for another hour, and I'm not going to, because she's been so gracious. But here's what I want to say to you. I know she's my friend and everything, but if you don't get involved with her, you're crazy. And learning the green zone, she's got a free gift for you. And Karen, would you type in one more time?
And what I want to say is reset, when you'll get in the group, it'll ask you one question. What inspired you to join the League of Angels? Say being on the show, Vicky, the show. And then because you say that, I will then give you the handout that has both the scale, the 3 steps, and I will add the signals as well today. And literally, guys, if you just use that 1-page handout and the signals, you would have work for the rest of your life to do. I want to say another thing. I have a 7-day initiative, a free initiative that's called the Stress Reset Initiative that is starting next Saturday, the 18th. If you get on my League of Angels page, you'll get all the information there. But we go through how to be in the green zone in your health and self-care, in your relationships, in your career and money, and in your spirituality and faith. So we will dive in more specifically to life areas and go deeper into this work. So it's a 7-day stress reset. So go on the League of Angels if you're interested in that, and the information will start coming about that.
Great. I want to let you know the League of Angels link is inside already in this group. It's up on the screen right now. I belong part of it. We've been friends for 20 years. Isabelle, I need to tell you this from being a friend. I'm so grateful for your willingness to do what you've done so that you can bring this kind of peace and enlightenment to the world. In this time right now, it's so needed. And I'm going to call all of you out right now that know you're supposed to be of the light. You know that you have worked all your life to be here this time in history to go ahead and step up with us. You're not alone. I'm going to put this up right here. Boom. We're on the same path and we'll always be in a different places on the path. It's moments like now that unite us momentarily to remind us, and it is spirit that allows this to happen as long as this reality remains in a state of duality. And until this reality ascends, that will be the case. Yet we are all on the same path. And time is the illusion. Therefore, the solution is right now.
Yeah,
right now.
Donald.
I know he always has that. He just is the wisest dude. I love you, Donnie. But my point in saying this is Isabelle has created a place for you to go to when you know you are part of the team that's supposed to be working with this. You know you're part of the team that is going to be there working. She's got free tools for you. I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for my decades of friendship and amazing memories I have with you. Thank you for being with us today on the Smart Life Club's Coffee Break Show. You have rocked the house. Thank you so much for being with us.
I don't want to leave. I don't want to stop this conversation. Yeah. And just for people this isn't about my ego wanting to be on podcasts. Like, I want to teach this work. The way I have built my practice has always been with a small group of very loyal people. And I'm finally ready, because the world is needing it right now, to actually impact more people. So if there's anyone that I can get on a podcast, that I can come on to do, I can do an online talk, just let me know, because this work really does save lives. It really does save lives. I have stories of saving lives. So I'm really passionate about it. I'm ready. I'm ready to step up into conscious leadership in a bigger way.
Thank you. Isabelle Tierney, thank you for sharing your gifts with us today. This is life-changing. If we choose to accept it, everyone, please choose. Remember, it's a green zone life right now on the Coffee Break Show. I love you, my friend. I'll see you guys later. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.